Gabriel Gage, the interesting little fella you may know from his performance of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for someone under 18, has found himself in more and more leaks, controversies, and now with this insane escalation, there's even protests happening outside his house. Not to mention a new top secret gaming YouTube channel that may have just been the cherry on top, proving he was in fact the one behind the failed doxing attempt on YouTuber Kiwi Tapes. Let's get right after it. So starting off, 3 days before the protest, someone would either make this account or change their name to Nova Takeover, the live event, with their handle being Nova Takeover July 3rd, 2026. Making an official statement in their bio going July 3rd, 2026 is when we take over at Nova MH Advocate and we claim it ours. Come join us to be a part of the takeover. Now, if you're not familiar with what a takeover is, they aren't going there to go storm his house and actually take their property from them. A takeover is when a group illegally blocks off traffic in, say, an intersection, and they start doing donuts and showing off their cars, essentially. But one thing about these takeovers is that they're notoriously pretty dangerous, and you'll probably come across videos of people getting hit by cars doing donuts or burnouts over on Instagram. So when I first scrolled past this a few days ago, I thought, oh, this probably isn't the best idea, and I also don't think it's going to happen, something so dangerous and organized. But no, seemingly after I first laid my eyes on it, comments started flooding into their first post about people saying, oh, I'm only 8 minutes away from this, I'm only 5 minutes away from here, I'm so going to this, I hope someone streams it. And that brings us to the day of the protest. Word would first get out before any photos or videos were posted that there was some form of protest going on outside of Nova's house. So of course, I remembered I saw that post they were planning to go over there on July 3rd, so my first thought was no way, that takeover is actually happening. I gotta go check out and see if anyone's posted anything in the comments or anyone's alluded to the fact that they're there at the moment. And of course, slowly trickling in would be photos of Nova seen flipping off the camera, getting pretty angry at all the people who showed up for this supposed takeover. And of course, photos wouldn't be the only thing that we got of this incident. Nova!
Camera! Fucking camera!
Hey, Nova, look at camera! Fucking camera! Oh my goodness.
Did you not hear about the takeover?
Can we come in?
Told you it would happen.
Holy shit.
He's so close.
Okay, go say hi.
Now, seemingly and thankfully, no laws were broken here. These people were just having a peaceful protest. It certainly wasn't a takeover, as they'd like to put it, which is a little evident with this photo. It seemed that only a whole bunch of regular traffic showed up, but that's probably a good thing. One point, though, I think is pretty interesting to note is the fact that in the process of Nova playing the victim here, he ended up breaking the law, or at least was the closest person to breaking the law here when he trespassed on his neighbor's property. Something I find pretty funny about this whole interaction was the way he flipped everyone off so angrily and violently as they were showing up for this takeover. He almost hit that middle finger the same way Trunks did right before he pieced up Frieza in Dragon Ball. That comparison's especially fitting when you realize he stole Trunks' fit not too long ago with this crop top jacket he wore. Moving forward, however, we can make out some of the plans that this Nova Online takeover had to begin with. So the account with the AI profile banner that highlighted and planned this whole thing posted to their story a string of messages that highlighted exactly how this takeover should go, saying, I intend the takeover to be a protest for Gabriel Gage, Nova Online, to be put in jail for his predatory behavior instead of trespassing onto his property. I highly recommend for those who are attending to please stay on the sidewalk instead of walking on Nova's property, so we don't trespass Nova or harm him. Things I recommend doing at the takeover: protest on sidewalk, bring awareness to people nearby the protest who don't know what Nova did, and just to enjoy the takeover safely. Things I don't recommend at all: illegally entering Nova's property without permission, trespassing, breaking, stealing, or painting over Nova's property, vandalism and theft, and harming Nova or anyone else inside the house, violent charges such as assault. And then, as the event got underway, they posted, live event is now, folks. Which, I don't know about you, but from those messages, it was kind of speaking to me that this person was trying to cover all their bases to make sure they weren't going to get into any sort of legal trouble if anything bad were to happen at this takeover. All I can say is, while some of these clips that we're getting out of this, or some of the photos we're getting out of this may be funny, it's never okay to show up to his house like this. We're certainly lucky that nothing bad happened. They kept it peaceful the entire protest. I've said this in the past, especially with that situation with that Chud Honda Civic guy, and then the other fella who was inspired by the Honda Civic who went and then DM'd me to argue about it. Showing up to his house like that is never a good idea. It can be deemed harassment. At the very least, you're giving him something to cry victim about, and we all know Nova Online, if you're watching videos like these, and he's not the victim, he's the one doing the victimizing. So giving him any sort of argument that he's actually the one being targeted and harassed is not a good idea. Moving forward though, what we have to talk about is Nova's new secret YouTube gaming profile, or at least the one that everyone suspects might be Nova. And I don't want to decide for you guys. You guys can decide whether or not you think this is Nova for yourselves. However, I think the evidence here is glaringly obvious who this might be behind the account. So starting us off in the beginning of May, this mysterious Kiwi Farms account would pop up claiming to be in close proximity to Gabriel Gage or know someone who could get into contact with Nova, and this person would express they're not the greatest fans of people like Bloodspeth or any of these Kiwi slop channels or what have you. In fact, he disliked these people so much, he went ahead and tried to find the real name of Kiwi Tapes, a YouTuber who covers people very well like Nova, making a post in one of the threads going, "Found Kiwi's last name, so his full name is blank. I have a confidant doing this behind the scenes." Now, if you notice there, already that random period in the middle of the sentence that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense is something Nova Online tends to do when he's typing things out, especially when he's a little angry. But, oh, that's just a singular sentence. You might be thinking to yourselves, "Oh, Mcgrubba, you might be reaching for straws here with this one." Well, people obviously had their suspicions, and it's certainly a disgusting thing to do trying to dog someone. In the process, there's always the potential that you could end up harming or inadvertently unaliving someone and their children by doxing them like this. So this was absolutely abhorrent behavior to be seen by whoever's running this account. So now, a little while later, this mysterious account over on YouTube going by the same name would pop up, with their channel bio going, "Welcome to my channel, The Salty Atlanta. Here you'll find various gaming, mainly Dead as Disco and Minecraft, but my main goal is to entertain and inform. For the time being, I will not show my face or use my real voice, as I have been harassed several times for my looks and voice in the past. Things I can't control. Subscribe to come along for the ride." With that email, thesaltyatlanta@gmail.com, down there as the business contact. Now remember that Gmail for me. This channel, as of right now, would only have one singular post on it, and that would be them playing Dead as Disco, a game a whole lot of people would call incredibly easy. However, this person was really struggling with it, seemingly.
What's going on, everyone? It is the Salty Atlanta Sour Peach, my first ever video on this channel. As stated in my description, if you have not read it yet, I am not going to be using my real voice or showing my face because it embarrasses me that much. But today we're just going to be doing a 10-minute uncut clip of the Dead as Disco game. And yeah, let's get this show on the road. Okay, I'm stopping for now. I clearly need more practice, and I want to get this video out soon. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next one. Stay peachy, y'all.
Yo, stay peachy, y'all. In case any of you are new, I'm just gonna play a clip real quick of how Nova introduces himself in videos, and I'll let you guys make the comparisons yourself. But that very, very obviously sounds like Nova with a voice changer to me, but I could be incredibly wrong on this one.
What is going on, everyone? It is Hey Nova Kadri, the Novine Universe, Magic Wizard, whatever you may know me as. And we are back with another video.
So again, I think it's just blatantly obvious that it's Nova here. But just to be sure, we're going to go through a little bit more evidence that we have here prepared. Remember, I told you guys to remember that Gmail we were talking about earlier. And you see, someone sent to me that when you try to sign into that Gmail and put it into account recovery in order to, get a code to reset your password, the first 3 letters of the email are mysteriously the same first 3 letters of his business email on his official TikTok and YouTube. So that's certainly interesting, pointing us in the right direction, but the most slam dunk of it all, besides it blatantly obviously being Nova with the voice changer on that YouTube video, would be the fact that when you go ahead and look at the Salty Atlanta Sour Peach over on Steam, based in Idaho of the United States, mysteriously and coincidentally also where Nova is based out of, we can see what this user has played as before, or in other words, what this person has had as their username in the past. And wouldn't you know it, this account previously went as No Vine Universe. And we also see Dead as Disco was played fairly recently too. So we got you, Gabe. You know, it's not so secret anymore. We know that this is you behind the account. I mean, people already suspected this before, but this is just solid proof that this was in fact Gabriel behind the account on Kiwi Farms that attempted to dox Kiwi Tapes and his family, which is something just so incredibly disgusting. I mean, obviously we knew that Gabriel didn't care for the safety of children, considering he's the one who likes to endanger them. Really put the hammer to the head of the nail on this one. Well, if you made it all the way to the end of today's video, I gotta say thank you for making it all the way through. I really appreciate that. And happy 4th of July. Lord knows Gabriel isn't celebrating because he seems to hate it here. But I hope all of you guys are having a safe and responsible night. I want to say a huge thank you to all my grubbas out there, all my Pure Grub members especially. I'll keep you guys posted as to what Gabriel gets up to with all his future antics. Later, grubbas.